Let me sing for you. Let me try. Let me sing for you. We made a lot of music singing, you and I, here at Raw Raw after midnight. Ram. Hello. Welcome to another edition of Roro After Midnight, also known as Ram. Again, this is a nightly live stream via Facebook. You can find it at Roro the Tenor, or you can subscribe to youtube.com Filipino Tenor. It shows from Monday to Saturday, every night at 10:01 p.m. Pacific, 12:01 a.m. after midnight Central, and 1:01 a.m. Eastern. So, and you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, at Roro the Tenor. And if you have 50 cents to give, send it on Venmo via at Roro the Tenor. Unfortunately, I worked today and it was a lot of stuff to do. So today I'm going to skip the joke of the day and the pickup line of the day. I'm sorry, but it's the eve of Christmas Eve, and make sure tomorrow you tune in because tomorrow is Christmas Eve. So it's going to be all about Eve. Anyway, as a reminder, please, since we have a big show today, now I have 3 guests. Three singular sensations. Every little step they make. And we're going to know what steps they're making. So anyway, please wear a mask, social distance, and wash your hands. You can use sanitizer, but it's going to dry out. It's going to dry out. Look in the mirror. That's exactly what it's going to look like if you use sanitizer. So you don't want that. Okay. Now we go to our guests. These are 3 singers, performers. I love my hair today. I just did it. I was at 7-Eleven. I said, oh my God, nice and easy. I did like 600 nice and easies to get this. So our guests today are 3 of my favorite people in different opera houses. Wait, oh my God, I'm supposed to click this. Oh, wait, there it is. Yes. And they are not wear a mask, social distance, and wash your hands. That is not their drag name. That is Jennifer Wallace, Sherry Watkins, and Belinda Oswald, the ladies of the chorus, LA Opera, Lyric Opera of Chicago, and the Metropolitan Opera, respectively. And now I bring to you one by Juan. It's just me working here, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Wallace. Hey! Sherry Watkins.
Hey.
Hey! And Belinda! How are you guys?
Excellent.
I love how you're we're fine. Okay, let's get this over with. So anyway, I see. Yeah, don't like that. No, not a fan of that. Nope. Yeah, we're doing this one. Okay, good. So Jennifer sings with LA Opera Chorus, which is in Los Angeles. That's why it's LA. I want to make sure it's not like Louisiana Opera, And Sherry Watkins sings with Lyric Opera of Chicago, and Belinda Oswald sings with the Metropolitan Opera Chorus. However, she is in Mountain Time right now. so say hi to our 300,000 viewers.
Hello.
So we're going to jump into at least one by one. I always ask this of my guests so that we know a lot of each and every one of you. We're going to start with Jennifer, tell us about yourself,
Oh gosh, what do you want to know, Roro?
So tell us about, where you're from, hometown, born and raised in, family, siblings, and all that, just to get to know who you are. as a person?
Awesome. Okay, well, I was actually born in Michigan. So if you ask where, I hold up my hand and I say right around here. So it was a couple of suburbs outside of Detroit. My dad was an engineer with Chrysler. But when I was 11 years old, my dad got a job offer he couldn't refuse, which was moving the whole family out to sunny Southern California. So I have been in Southern California since the early to mid 70s. I am the youngest of three. I'm the baby. I've got an older brother who's an attorney and an older sister who is just like an awesome, awesome person. And actually, if you don't mind, Roro, I want to share my origin story because it's actually rather operatic.
Yes,
my
please do.
My parents were both students at the University of Michigan. And my mom was a freshman, my dad was a sophomore, and there was a concert given on campus. It was the great Lauritz Melchior. And my mom bought a ticket all on her own. My dad bought a ticket all on his own, and they just happened to be seated next to one another. And so they were looking at the programs and stuff, and my dad thought, oh, cute little co-ed next to me. He looked at the program, and the final piece on the program was Some Enchanted Evening. Well, having seen the world premiere of South Pacific a year earlier in New York, he leaned over to my mother and said, well, I wonder if he'll sing that as well as Pinza. And that struck up the conversation. He walked her home to the dorm, asked if he could call on her again. And just under 4 years later, they were married. And
and there you are.
Until he left us about 4 years ago. My mom is still around. But yeah, so that's my operatic origin story.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That is amazing. Now we go to Sherry from Chicago. Tell us about your life, Sherry from Chicago.
Oh, it's so exciting. I was born and raised in Connecticut. I am the youngest of five. I am also a baby. I have 3 sisters and a brother, and they are all scientists and business people. So black sheep here. I currently live in Park Ridge, Illinois, with my husband, who is a berry hunk, Ron Watkins. And we have 2 cats, Zoe and Dewey, and a 23-year-old, my stepson, Ron's son, Jeffrey, who is studying acting and music at Carthage.
Yes, thank you. And we're glad to have you here at Jeopardy. So the next one is Belinda Oswald.
Well, this is so weird. I'd have to say, I'm also the baby of the family. What does that say about us? I have an older sister and a brother. I was born in Washington State, lived in Colorado and Nebraska. Living here right now in Arizona with my husband, Mark Oswald. And we got to play tennis a couple times this week. Sorry for you all in the cold air. But that's it for now.
Well, just to let you know, a little trivia. We are all the youngest in our family. Okay. In my dad's side, however, I'm kind of the middle. So there you go. I'm my mom's youngest. Let's stop there, okay? So let's see here. So now we're gonna go to the fun part already. You know, it's like, you know what, I always talk to people, I'm like, where'd you go? First of all, I could ask them it to you later when when you remember something about your life, about studying and all that. But we're gonna talk less about where I went to school and where I studied voice. We're here to have a little bit more fun, comparison. We always like to compare and stuff. So I want to know from each of you, your favorite production. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, oh my God, I only have one. The one that stuck out, not necessarily that you loved, but you actually felt moved, or whether you like watching or the best the best one that you feel like you loved doing and really got a lot out of. Let's go backwards now. Let's start with Belinda. Belinda
Well, believe it or not, Satyagraha.
by Philip
It
Glass.
was, yeah. And my friend Karen Kamensek, the conductor, and working with everybody involved. It was just really was hard, but it was very powerful. And there's such a following with Philip Glass, and every time the curtain would come down, it was just deafening.
Mm-hmm.
But it was such love for what he does and what we had to do, and it just really stood out for me. I know it's kind of a strange selection, but
That's awesome. That's awesome. So is it more of the music of it, or is it more of the interpretation of the opera itself? You know what I mean, though? Is it just by listening to the music, or is it how? Yeah.
Kind of a combination of that, but there was so much, you felt it was very earthy and organic, which we don't get to do music that put your feet in the ground and you can feel it in your heart.
That's
and the beat was literally, and you could it just became a part of this wild kind of, mesmerizing at times too. And of course the whole cast was phenomenal, from the smallest role to everything. So
was that the first Philip Glass opera that was performed at the Met?
no, we did hello see,
No, it's the one before.
I
know exactly. It's like, which
it
one?
just went out of my head. The one about Gandhi.
Oh,
That's such
yes.
Oh, wait, Akhenaten, yes. What I meant was both of them were very earthy, and Karen Kamensek did the Akhenaten.
Oh,
See,
okay.
It's past my bedtime.
So what about you? I know. So what about you, Sherry? What is your pick?
Well, I'm going to go with the Robert Carson production of Dialogues of the Carmelites. It's one of my favorite operas, just anyway. I've done it twice. Once I did it in grad school, and then I did it in the chorus at Lyric with Robert Carson directing. Pretty amazing. I mean, I don't know if you can go wrong with that opera because the content is so intense and the music, it's just so awesome. So it kind of consumes you. But the production was just, I love his productions. Very, very simple and stark and really powerful and graceful and beautiful.
And then I remember I covered Dennis Peterson as the priest in that one, and I remember that. I think I was just out of. I think it was 2008. I was just out of the program when that happened. Yeah. What about you, Jennifer? What is your favorite production? I mean, it's cool.
Well, I mean, first I'll say, Belinda, I totally agree with you. I've done both of those productions, Satyagraha and Akhenaten. Loved them both for the same reasons you were talking. But I would say, since really my first love was musical theater before getting bit by the opera bug and realizing that, that's what my voice and, let's face it, body type are both suited for. I'm going to say Candide by Bernstein. I've done it 3 times. I did it at the Amundsen in LA in 1995. Then I did a small production of it with Pasadena Opera, about 5 years ago, I think. And that one, my boyfriend ended up, he and I were both cast in it as small roles and large covers. And he ended up taking over the role of Voltaire. They split Voltaire and Pangloss out. So he was Voltaire and a bunch of other roles. And I covered the old lady while playing the Baroness. And then I did it with LA Opera, Cheska's production about, 3, coming up 4 years ago?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was very recent. Yeah.
And the thing is, with that show, none of the 3 productions, I would say maybe 75% of the music was the same. But because of, rewrites and different versions and all that stuff, the 3 productions themselves were all completely different. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely loved each and every one of them.
Yeah. For me, I'm not part of the panel. Fine. You know what? One of my favorite productions it was my very first Butterfly. It was an Australian production in Pittsburgh Opera, because it was they said it's kind of kabuki, so it's basically just flat, because we had water on stage. It was water on the ground, and the kokens, those helpers, they were the only ones on the water. They were moving through the water, walking, assisting Butterfly through everything, and Suzuki. So the only people who were on the water, below the that platform, were the kokens. None of the principals were, which makes it so it's like, oh wow, it's a totally different realm. So I like it when there's real elements on stage, fire, water. We have to be careful with fire, but yeah. So a little shout out. Lexi said, "You ladies are incredible." That includes you, Roro. Oh, thank you very much. Oh. And then there's a shout out from Veronica Christensen. Hello, Jennifer. Yes. And then I think when you said one of my faves, when you said, I think it was Candide as well, or it was Philip Glass. I couldn't remember. Now, the next one is, by the way, people have mentioned oh, my husband, this and that, whatever. I have a husband too. We all have husbands. And now I want to show you. I think I could put it here so that you guys could see it. And then I can show you first Jen's husband. Oh, what's his name?
We are not married. Oh. We have been a couple for 30 years. We do not want to get married.
Oh my God, that is so Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell. Amazing. Is that right?
They finally did it, but 30 years.
But for the longest time. So anyway, couples. Look at you guys. I love that hair, Jen. Oh my God, you totally did your hair for this one. And then this is Ron and Sherry. Tell us about this couple, Ron and Sherry.
This picture was taken. The Mississippi River is behind us. We were at a restaurant above the Mississippi. That was our 4th anniversary. I think we've been married a little over 5 years, but we've known each other since I started at Lyric 23 years ago.
Yeah, and then this next one is Belinda and Mark. Tell us about this picture.
Well, Beth Bergman took that picture. She takes pictures at the Met all the time. And she was there because she's friends of the Spectors, Gary and her Melanie Spector. We went to, oh my gosh, you're too cute, Roro, to her recital. Mark is her teacher, and we were there at MSM, and she took our picture and sent it to me. So
I got to fix your hair.
I know, I'm hairbrushed. Right there.
And then this is the best couple of all. Ta-da! There it is.
That's me and my boyfriend, Monostatos.
So this is this year though. What year was this, Jen?
I think it was 2013. It was the first time that this particular production of Flute came to the U.S. LA did the U.S. premiere. Yeah, we've done it 3 times now, but this was the first.
This was the first, and I heard that my face was, or was it? I think this was the one that was used for tours and stuff like that. I don't know. The video. I don't know. I think it was Monostatos. I don't know. Anyway, so that is enough of those pictures first. Now we go back to our little talks here and there. this is not really a favorite director, but more of which director. It's not necessarily favorite. Which director kind of made an impact where, you know how like when you work with directors and you're saying, oh, I already know that. Oh, that's already something I've learned. Which director actually surprised you where you're like, oh, did not know that? You know, something like that. So let's start with Jen. So tell us about which director kind of surprised you and suddenly you learned something new.
I'm actually going to go way back to the beginning of my career, and I'm going to go with the late Sir Jonathan Miller. He directed 2 productions at LA Opera that I was involved with. Mahagoni, in which I was one of the 6 ladies. And then he also did Turn of the Screw, where I was covering the role of Mrs. Gross. And what I loved so much about him, and what was so important for me working with him while I was still in my late 20s and very new to the whole professional opera thing, he treated everyone in the room as an equal. We were there to make the best overall product that we could. And no one person was more or less important than anyone else in the room. And I will always remember that and appreciate that. He had so much respect for absolutely everyone in the production, both times I worked with him. So I wish I had gotten to work with him more than just those 2 times. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jonathan.
What about you, Sherry?
I'm going to go. Oh, there's a kitty behind me. See him? Where is he? This way.
Is that real?
I'm going to go with David McVicker. And it's not necessarily, I mean, I can tell you, I think what he taught me was that he is really brilliant at bringing out something in everyone, including the chorus, which, you know, it's nice to feel as if we're individuals up there.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes the time to really pick out something about someone and say, I want you to do this. And it's very interesting to see your colleagues picked and put into something, especially in the production of Manon that he did, that he might give you something really uncomfortable to do, but you want to do it for him because it's amazing. So, yeah.
I think the cool thing is I think all of us has worked with McVicker. Is that right? Jen, have you worked with McVicker, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, what? Has he ever gone to LA?
Not that I'm aware of.
Ooh, we gotta look that up. The wise. Now, before we jump into anything, let's ask Belinda who her favorite or the most influential director for her is.
Well, for me, when we did our current production now of Butterfly, I started out as a geisha and got to do the mother, but when we first did it, he was there on stage, and again, kind of echo what everyone else had said. So important that he took the time with each geisha, and we were important to the story. And it was the way he brought each one of us to life and what was in a spectacularly quiet way, but it was impactful.
It's awesome. Now, what one of the things I want to let people know is, you know, the difference between the important thing about being in an opera chorus is opera chorus for me. That's why it's nice to hear, you know, what you guys are telling me, because opera chorus is a collective of soloists. People need to realize that they are all soloists singing as one. That is what opera chorus is, which is different from, in my opinion, which makes it different from ensemble members in other genres. Because for us, that's what makes us so unique. And when directors work with each person in the chorus, then they are treated as important as the principal, as the lead, and as the featured role. And when directors and conductors do that, that's when you know they know what they're doing, not just musically, but they know what they're doing personally to each and every one of us. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all of those people who actually take the time to get to know each and every cast member in every show. So we're gonna do now Throwback Thursday. So we're gonna show pictures. Wait, what do we have on like? Oh, look. Lexi said opera chorus is its own incredible principal character. Yep, it's true. It's like, oh my God, one of my favorite. You know what? One of my favorite, because I've been in that production twice, is when you guys sing in Turandot. I was like, oh my God, the beginning of it is it's like one voice concert. The beginning of it, I'm like, oh my God, and there are scenes in that one scene also in Peter Grimes where it reminds me of Kill the Beast. You know that everyone's like, oh, they're gonna do a Les Mis moment where everyone goes forward to the stage. Every production of Peter Grimes, you guys always charge forward, and I'm like, is that a normal thing to do in Peter Grimes? Pretty much. So talk about Throwback Thursday. Start with. And then you guys, whoever's involved, tell us what this is and what you guys are doing and stuff. This one.
This is Mahogany, directed by the late Sir Jonathan Miller. So I'm there kind of in the center of the photo with the white lace and my hand kind of up near my heart. This is towards the end of the opera. I'm not sure who's dying there. But, you know, a lot of people, it's opera, people die. But the woman in white kneeling, that is Anna Steiger. She was playing Jenny, and Gary Bachland was the male lead in that one. Oh. And then over standing, that's Marveli Cariaga there. And a bunch of the choristers, if we go from left to right, that's Marjorie Kurtzinger, Paula Rasmussen, Aaron Murphy, Donna Covert, me, and Patricia DeStefano. I remembered, even though that was back in the 80s.
Wow. What about now this one? Who's it? Oh, this is Sherry.
This is me. So, and good job on memorizing all those. So I should have done my research about like who's in the picture, but I'm just going to talk about me. So I'm the one with the light bulb and the pretty hairdo. This was such a great like Scottish production. I mean, it's a show that's not done very often, Ariodante, but really small chorus. We all had incredibly specific things to do, and we are basically, you know, are humiliating female lead, and I'm so sorry I cannot remember her name. She was the sweetest thing, and it made me want to cry that we were like being so mean to her every night. But it was really fun working with puppeteers as well. That this production was so cool and so much fun. Yeah, it was a good time.
And who do you remember who directed Ariodante?
Oh my God. I cannot remember.
No, I'm just curious because it's
oh, you know what? It was Richard. So it's a Richard Jones production.
Oh, okay.
But it was his assistant Ben, whose last name I can't remember, who had also just recently did something else at Lyric. He's really good.
Right. What about Belinda? I picked this picture. You got to tell us the history of this.
Oh, that's funny. It's Cunning Little Vixen.
Nice.
Yeah, at Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. Yeah, and if you look closely, you can see they put a little extension on my nose.
Oh, right there. That's awesome.
Yeah,
so
that was fun. Whew.
I told you it was throwback, and then oh my God, this is I'm now gonna show you the reason why I became an opera singer, and Jen was part of it. This one.
There we are. I'm the backup chorus for the three guys. So this was the second Three Tenors concert. This was the one at Dodger Stadium.
In 1994.
1994. I'm again, so if you look at Pavarotti and just go straight up, the smiling face in the back row, that's me. And this was just such a sweet, incredible gig. It was a total surprise. Of course, it was during the summer, and we normally didn't work during the summer, but they decided to use the LA Opera Chorus. So there we are for the worldwide audience. The most memorable thing about this night was actually leaving the parking lot, because I know Roro's been to Dodger Stadium. I love it. I'm a Dodger fan. I love the stadium, but the parking lot is a pain in the butt. And it took me probably 2.5 hours to get out of the parking lot that night. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
This is Sherry, what are you doing here?
I don't know. I came across this on Facebook and I was like, what? I know I was actually moving chairs as part of my action, but it kind of looks like John is like chastising me or something. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Like I did something naughty.
It reminds me of Gilly from, Christine Wiig from SNL. Gilly. So what show is this?
This is Pasquale. Don Pasquale. And this was directed by Thomas Allen, this production. That was so much fun. Oh my God. That was a blast. Yeah.
Now we go to this one. What is this, Belinda?
Well, speaking of David Mitvicker, he called it Putana in Trovatore. Head camp follower, but he saw me down at sea level rehearsal the very first time we were doing this, and he pointed and said, "You are my putana." And I'm like, okay. That was fun. That's very featured acting role. It's really fun to do.
Now I'm going to show you like 3 pictures of, the ladies in their regale. There you go. Dolly. Hello, Dolly. Welcome back.
Oh gosh, that's Merry Widow. I'm holding the great Jason Gra there.
Wow.
So this was a Lotfi show, and Lotfi is probably runner-up for my favorite director. He was so much fun to work with. So I was the character in Act 3 at the cafe at Mimi's. I was the sugar mama. And so we started with like a dream ballet, kind of like Oklahoma, where I come in with a handsome young dancer, and then one of the chorus guys comes in with, a beautiful dancer. And of course the dancers fall in love and, leave the sugar daddy and the sugar mama. But Jason played the role of Niegush, which is just, this fabulous little show-stopping number. And at the end, I stood up and he ran across the stage and leapt into my arms. And we never got a production photo of it, so I recreated this backstage and had one of the dancers take it.
I played Niegush in Florentine Opera, and I had to do remember that scene where he comes in crying with the telegram? Instead of crying, I did this. I was doing that, so that was fun. Now the ladies and their outfits. Tell us about this, Sherry.
That hat is like bigger than me, and it actually weighed more than me, I think. I honestly, when you showed this picture, I was like, oh my God, I honestly can't remember this. Actually, you know what? This is Merry Widow as well. And same thing. Yeah, the last time we did it. That's right. So thank God I didn't have to wear it for too long. And I was way up in a balcony on the stage. So I don't think got to be seen as much as it should have been.
So just remember, guys, you want a hat that big, make sure you do Merry Widow. That's a rule. Now, this one doesn't have much as a hat, but I love the dress on this one. Tell us about this, Linda.
Okay. This is Bart Scher's L'Elisir d'Amore, and I got picked to fight with Janetta over Nemorino, and there's a point where I'm like, really? That's a good picture again.
I mean, I love this dress because it's so old fashioned, classic, like those balloony things on the side. It's a ball gown. It is a ball gown.
Captain Duger, that's her design.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Now we go to a part. Oh, I love how it pulsates when I have my camera on. Now we go to a part I call, excuse me, you dropped something. And by drop something, it's going to be name dropping something. So we're going to start with Sherry. So this is when Chicago won the World Series, right?
Well, this was actually 2000. So they won in 2016, this was 2018, I think, or 19
before he switched.
So that's David Ross, who is now the coach the manager of the Cubs, but he was the catcher for the Boston Red Sox, which is the hat I have on because I grew up a Red Sox fan.
He was the catcher. I knew he was a bottom. Anyway, go ahead.
The picture was taken at the Field of Dreams location in Iowa, which is such a cool place. If we get a chance to go there. What are you doing? Anyway, I stood in line for a long time and I paid a lot of money and I got his autograph. So
and then the next one now is we're gonna go with, tell us, Jen, about your experience in this one. We know that show. We've seen that show.
This is America Says, and that's me and my fellow opera pals. So the two of us in the middle, me, and then that's my boyfriend Greg. Alita on the far end and Scott on the right side, I guess. Yeah. So Alita and I have been friends since the day LA Opera began. So we've been going back a long, long time. And one of the things that bonds us is our love of trivia and games and stuff. Alita is always the one. She brought the Scrabble game, the Boggle game, whatever, Trivial Pursuit, Encore, any of those games over the last 35 years. And every now and again, we go on game shows together. She and Greg and I actually did another game show about 20 years earlier when she was pregnant with her first kid. But yeah, that's America Says, and it was a lot of fun, and we lost, but just barely.
Oh, just barely? Oh my God! We Stephen and I actually watched this, and we actually play this while watching it. We love game shows, so and we love the host. I forgot the name of the host. He's in
either Michael John or John Michael, something like that, and he's actually really good friends with Rupert Hemmings. So after we were done, the host came to talk to us, and he name dropped Rupert. And we're like, yeah, of course we know him, blah, blah, blah.
So now, Belinda.
Rupert came to us in a rehearsal like the following week, and he said, so I understand you met a friend of mine.
So now, Belinda, tell us about this. This one, I want to know, where is this? What's going on? This is epic.
Well, this is so cool. It was the big Metropolitan Opera Guild Awards, and I got an invitation. I said, well, I know Mark's going to go up and all that, and that's great, but no, we want you to come. And I kept saying, no, we want you to come. And I said, okay. So they singled Mark out, some other people, they also singled me out as a chorister, and I don't think that's ever happened. I was like practically crying. And I'd already met Kristen Chenoweth. I had just so much fun. I'm walking out and she was already there. She's so cute. She goes, oh, hi, in your cute little voice. And I get up there and Diane Sawyer and Candace Bergen. There's my husband, Mark Oswald, behind me. and somebody takes a photo, and Diane Sawyer puts her hand right on, and I'm like, well, this is cool.
Oh my God, that's awesome. That's awesome. Oh my God, you guys are so much fun. So much fun with these photos. Oh my God, where did I go? There am I. Names. Okay, now a little bit before we start playing games, a little bit of. I want to know what's life outside of opera. You know, when you're not, as we know, every season there's always a little bit of a break. You know, in the Met, it's very little break, right? Is that right? But when you have a little break, what do you do away from all this singing? I want to know, like, you go to travel a little or not hobbies or trips. So, yeah. Let's start with Sherry.
Okay. So Ron and I bought a cottage in Galena, Illinois, which is near the Mississippi. It's where like Iowa, Wisconsin, and Illinois meet. So that's kind of our vacation. Like, we're not good at taking vacations. We usually will just take a couple days. So we decided to just buy a place because we go to Galena all the time because it's only a couple hours away. But we sing with the Grant Park Chorus in the summer. That's kind of we call it summer camp. That's our summertime fun. And then we drink on the lawn after the concerts. So,
what about you, Jen?
Vegas, baby.
Yes!
We do Vegas a lot. We actually lived there for a couple of years. Greg was there longer than I was. He was there before me and then also after me. But yeah, give me a stack of chips and a seat at a Pai Gow table, and I am entertained for hours.
What about you, Belinda?
Well, there's some similarities here because I love Pai Gow poker too, but my husband and I play a lot of Hold'em poker. We go to Palm Springs, and we have a lot of friends there now. We just have a great time, and we go to the Agua Caliente Casino and have cocktails.
Why don't you come Now I'm going to change. Wait, what happened here? I thought I did it. What happened? Just a second, guys. I'm trying to put it. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, no. Wait. Oh, that's me. I thought I was going to be able to do it like side by side. I actually, that's what I'm going to, no, I can't do it. So now we're going to play again. Wait, do we have comments here? Come play at my casino, guys. So my husband, if you're ever in Chicago, when it's back to normal age, my husband works at River Casino by O'Hare.
Oh, great.
I'm there.
It's really close to our new house. I mean, it's like 10 minutes.
Yes, exactly.
Really close.
And there is, just so you know, there is a shuttle that goes from the airport to the casino and back, just so you know. Oh, and then, Lexi said, and then come to our place post-COVID and have cocktails. There you go.
Yes.
Now, this is the part where we play a game, and I call it, let's play rehearsal trivia. So, I want to know first, like, we're always going to go now from like Jen, Sherry, and then Belinda, so it's a lot easier to get a hold of. I want to know, first of all, the number of shows per season, LA Opera.
These days it's running about 6. Once upon a time, we used to run about 8 to 10. We're hoping to get back to 8 maybe someday, but COVID kind of stuck a pin in that. But usually 6.
It's usually 6. What about Sherry?
Are you talking productions?
Yeah, production. Like, production. Production.
So, I mean, traditionally we've done 8. I think that's gonna maybe go down a little bit, but we've got the musical theater as well, and they're doing other things. But for most of my career, it's 8 productions this season.
8. Of course, the Met is going to be double digits, but I want to know, like, okay, what about you, Belinda?
I'm trying to remember. I think it's around 26.
I'm sorry, it's just funny.
I
Like
think Ken is so proud.
26. It's. I already know the answer. It's just I just want you to actually say it. It's funny. Okay, now guys, breaks. Okay, the reason I ask this is because there are people who's going to be watching this because every company is different, and I, as a union member, you know what, and a board of governors, like stuff like that. I want to know normally we're talking about choruses here, chorus breaks. How does the break work? Like if, in a rehearsal, for example, in Chicago, speaking as a principal, in Chicago, yes, we get 10 minutes per hour, I think, and then we divide it to like for principal rehearsals, we always get a break of 20 minutes and then leave 10 minutes early, something like that. But in chorus, it's always a set thing. Let's start with Jen. How do they do it at LA Opera?
Very much like you described it. So for every hour we rehearse, 10 minutes of that is accrued break time. So a 3-hour rehearsal will have 30 minutes of break, depending on what the rehearsal is. If we're in a music rehearsal, we will often work for between 80 to 90 minutes. 90 minutes is the max before having a break. Then we'll take a 20-minute break, and then we'll work and then leave 10 minutes early. In a 4-hour rehearsal, it'll be 2 20-minute breaks. Staging rehearsals and onstage stuff will generally take the half hour as a clump, unless we're in costumes, and then the poor stage management, who, God bless them, we love our stage management teams. They have to keep track when we're doing onstage rehearsals, because you can't use time changing costumes, even getting out of costumes at the end of the night. That cannot count towards your accrued break time. So there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, every hour that's on the schedule for rehearsal, we have a 10-minute break. What does not accrue break time is the makeup call. So a lot of times we'll have anywhere from 30 to 75 minutes makeup call time, depending on what the show is. That does not accrue break time at all. Did that answer your
What about you,
question?
Sherry?
Yeah,
Of course it does. Of course.
So
What about
for
you,
the
Sherry?
For the most part, we do a half an hour per 3-hour rehearsal instead of breaking it up. For us, it depends on whether or not there are dancers, because dancers like shorter breaks. So sometimes we'll do that. But if it's just the chorus, it's usually we work for 90 minutes and take a half an hour. And then, of course, when we rehearse with the orchestra, we break when they break. So.
Okay, and then unlike Jen's, where it doesn't matter where it's a musical rehearsal or staging rehearsal, you always break after 90 minutes. Is that right?
So are you still talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. 90 minutes is
okay.
definitely max. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when in Jen was saying, like, with them, with musical rehearsal, they would take a 20 and then leave 10 minutes early. But at Lyric, normally it's like 90, break 30, and then leave on the dot. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Belinda? I want to know this one.
Yeah, kind of similar to Jen, but a little backwards. Our musical rehearsals in List Hall, we have a 10-minute every hour, regardless. And then on stage, any staging rehearsal, C-level or the main stage, maximum 90 minutes, which is normal. But it depends. We'll take maybe a 20-minute and take a 10 later, because it just depends on the length of the staging rehearsal. Because sometimes we want to clump a bigger break when we can and take a smaller one later. And that has a lot to do with just talking to the stage directors too and figuring out the best way to use our breaks.
So quick question. Is it after 1 hour you take a break for 10 minutes, or at 50 minutes you take a 10?
50 minutes, take a 10.
See? I didn't know that. Good to know. No, you know why? Because
yeah.
because when I'm in the cafeteria, I see you guys like, wait, they're here again? You know what I mean? Now I know. Okay, now I know. You know what? We're gonna go a little over, but I want to know these things. Really, I'm getting educated right now. You have no idea. Extra fees.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know there's a lot of extra fees, but I know there's some like taking off makeup, wig. My question is, this is specific. Are all of you guys still have a lifting fee?
We do.
Yep.
Aside from Chicago does this, but I remember because they did it in Rosencavalier during my first Rosencavalier, and I think it was, I don't know if Sherry did it or somebody else, a screaming fee on cue.
It's you mean a
Musical.
group scream or a solo scream?
Solo.
Not a group scream. A solo cued scream fee. Like they didn't. The first Rosencavalier I did, it was cued. The second one, they didn't have it cued.
So
But
it's
the first one, I
it's
was like, you see someone like waiting.
It's a musical cue, and
So-
we used
Yeah.
to have a lot more fees than we do now, because it's just a nightmare. And so we kind of, one of our last negotiations kind of lumped it into fees for like everyone for the show. So
now
then
I'm
they
gonna
can ask us to dance, and we can do all kinds of stuff. So,
So
but
now
yeah,
I'm gonna
I'm not one of the screamers myself,
Uh-huh.
but I did squeal in Don Giovanni once, and I got paid a fee for that.
So
Yeah, for us, a solo scream would be the same as a chorus bit. Especially if it's something written in the score, definitely like an offstage scream right before we run on stage for the fight scene in Act 1 of Carmen. We could all do it right now, but I think we're all mezzos, right? Am I the only mezzo? I'm going to have to beat you guys up.
However, I'm gonna show later on where you're not a mezzo.
Oh, God.
So by the way, before we leave the extra fee, I want to know: are there any the most unusual kind of fee where it's like, wait, there's a fee for that? Like, you can't believe there is a fee. Anyone of you?
Body paint.
Which one?
If you have body paint
Yeah.
above your elbow, below your neck. Let's see, the last time we did Pearl Fishers, my midriff was exposed, so I got a makeup fee.
Oh my god, that's awesome. What about you, Belinda? Did you ever experience like the weirdest fee?
Well, kind of like hazard pay when I was doing, we were doing Trojans with Francesca Zambello, and I was supposed to run and fall. And that was a hazard fee because literally my knees were pretty scraped up every time. And we used to have heavy fees, like big tables and stuff, that's gone, all that stuff. But I got to scream twice in Giovanni, so that was fun.
Yeah. What about you, Jen?
Our basic fees, and we've got lifting fee, super fee, dance fee, chorus bit fee, undressing fee, and then with us, if you've got the body makeup that's extensive, we just get an extra increment of undressing fee rather than the fee to actually do it. It's just more of a fee for the time it takes to take it off.
So now this is the last of this whole trivia rehearsal thing. Cancellations. Has any of you, like, calling in sick is one thing, but have you ever felt like when you actually have to cancel like one of those unexpected cancellation during a show? You know how you schedule when you're not going to be able to make it, or when you're feeling sick. But any of you ever experienced where it's like family emergency, sudden thing? It's like, oh shoot, I gotta cancel. Stat. Did any of you ever experience that?
Not me, like a family
Belinda.
emergency, something like that. Would
Tell us, Belinda.
Well, I got hit by a car on an SUV.
Oh,
So it's like, I think I have to cancel as I'm in the emergency room. Oh, I think I have to cancel tonight. Family emergency. Somebody was in the emergency room. I'm on the stage. Boom. So, I mean, it happens. It's like, bah.
What about you two? Did you ever experience probably not as bad as a car accident where, maybe like a friend or a family member where it's one of those where, shoot, I really have to cancel. I gotta use my sick pay. When you have to like use a sick time because you're not sick, or sometimes people just maybe use sick time for something else. But when you actually have to use sick time because or something because you really had to cancel emergency. Any of the two of you have to experience that?
Well, I've used sick pay to handle emergencies of family members.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, there was once I called out of a performance using sick pay because I hope he doesn't hate me for telling this story. My boyfriend was working at the Queen Mary at their Halloween thing. And it's called Dark Harbor, and whoever did his makeup on a Saturday night maybe didn't clean their brushes really well, and he formed a sty, and he was in incredible pain. He couldn't see. The sad part is, though, I could not call out of my church gig. So I sang my church gig, called out of my opera matinee, and then came home and took care of him.
Wow.
So what about Sherry? You didn't have to experience anything like that, huh?
No, not yet. Knock on wood. I mean, my family is not in Chicago, so it would have to be, someone's death, or and I'd have to leave the state. So,
yeah.
But hasn't happened yet.
So now, we have. Wait, Jen, tell them about when you were asked to step in for me on Grendel.
Okay, so Grendel has only been performed at LA Opera and then the Lincoln Center Festival, and it will probably never see the light of day again. Though Eric Owens, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But there was a low alto chorus bit, and Veronica was doing that. And in a rehearsal one night, she was actually out sick. And the chorus master asked me to step in and sing in rehearsal. And I said no, because we don't have cover fees for chorus bits.
Wow.
It was partly making a statement because having a cover fee for chorus bits is something that I think should exist. And I'm going to not work on that sometime in the near future. Maybe tipping my hand to anyone who's watching this. But the other reason that I didn't want to do it, I was having some vocal issues myself, and I thought I was going to I thought that I might end up getting out of the opera.
So
the only time we have had a cover for a chorus bit was actually, we had a soprano who was about 9.9 months pregnant, and she had a chorus bit of shrieking like a high C or C sharp or something like that, that they had a cover for at that same time. And that definitely wasn't me, because I do the low C's.
Now we get to see, now that we've covered everything. But before I come up with something last minute, I would now like to show you some clips of our guests performing, singing, yada, yada, yada. So, you have no idea what I'm showing. Probably only Belinda, but you have no idea what I'm showing, and I know that they're gonna love it. And actually, Jen, I saw this on YouTube. It's like, oh my God, you sound amazing. So here they are. In order, it's Jennifer Wallace, mezzo-soprano, Sherry Watkins, soprano, and Belinda Oswald, soprano. I hope you enjoy it.
Wild wind
And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. These three are my best students. So if you want to study with me. Oh my God. So I ended with Belinda because it's like, oh, it's Christmas. So that was awesome. I'm glad that you had that right there. So so thank you. Thank you for being my guests tonight. And there you go. By the way, forgot. There's always a part. I'm gonna put it here. It's called the wow moment. Have you guys heard of my wow moment? Wow moment is, I have to ask each and every one of you before we leave. The wow moment is words of wisdom. Wow moment. So, briefly, whatever you could impart to our, viewers. So, and then I'm going to keep it in this realm. Let's start with Belinda, and then Cherry, and then Jennifer. So, whatever message you want to viewers, singers, fellow artists, and take it away.
We're imparting wisdom.
Yes.
Well, this is a fabulous, amazing job to be able to sing with other beautifully talented artists. And I know it's really tough right now because we're not singing live with everybody. But if we just kind of hold on to that and know that the end will be near, and those overtones will be spinning in our ears, and just keep the faith.
Be respectful of all of your colleagues, especially the ones that not just your chorus colleagues, but the wig department and the stagehands and everyone you work with. And pick up your skirt.
Wow. Just echoing what was just said. Be kind, be respectful, be prepared, be on time, and don't be a diva.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm gonna put you in the backstage while I say goodbye to my audience. I love it. I love it when
Thank you, Roro.
Thank you. Say goodbye to our viewers.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I'm gonna put you into the each and every one of you. So as I end this, I'd like to sing a song since I called it 3 Singular Sensations from a chorus line. Hey, I'm gonna sing a little ditty while I say goodbye to everyone. Won't forget, can't regret what I did for grub. What I did for grub.